Okay, so welcome back to another episode of the Gritty Hour. I'm here with Shawnee Boy. How you doing, Shawnee?
What up, T? It's good to be back at the Gritty Hour. Doing good, man. You know, I'm back at school. School started over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you're back at work, right?
Yeah, back at work at my
It's school for the kid. It's work for the teacher.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's work, but I have a good time with the kids, so sometimes it doesn't feel like work.
Well, what's the old saying? If you love what you're doing, you never work a day in your life.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge is waking up and driving to work every day and get back into that. Because even though last year I went into school, the traffic was minimal. New York City, it's all back. I think we've talked about this before, but I mean, it's all back. I feel like there's more people now than ever. That's what it feels like.
This morning, there's a couple of channels on YouTube that give you live feeds of certain locations,
Yeah.
London, whatever the hell, and whatever. Times Square was one.
Yeah.
Bryant Park was another, and I was shocked because it was a live feed, and it was like 9:30 this morning. It was a ton of people in Bryant Park.
It's packed. It's back.
Well, like I said during the height of the thing, everybody's saying, "Oh, New York City will never come back with the." They'll still have a struggle coming back with the office spaces, because a lot of people are determined to work from home on a permanent basis.
Yeah, didn't they mandate certain companies mandated you to go back, like private sector companies?
I would think they would. They're paying for the office space.
Yeah, right.
But
So they'll get clever. I mean, it may not happen in a year or two, but eventually that space, if it's not getting used, will get used somehow, somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
After 9/11, Wall Street started converting to, it's like half, I don't know what it is now, but before I left Wall Street, it was like half the place was residential.
I have a buddy who lives in the financial district down there, and he says he lives on the 22nd floor, like near all the buildings down here. He's like, it's great, it's amazing. I have a great view, and so I think there's a big selling point to like the one thing that New York always needs is more apartments. That I know.
My smoking spot, if you know that area, was right. This is back when I smoked, before I switched to ambrosia.
Hey.
My smoking spot was right across the street from Federal Hall. So it was like right on the corner of Wall and Broad.
Is that where the bowl is? Isn't that where the bowl is?
No, that's down by Bowling Green.
Okay, maybe. So I don't really know then.
Yeah. Well, this is right on Wall Street. Federal Hall is where Washington statue is, where he was inaugurated.
Oh yeah, I mean I've walked by it. Yeah.
Like diagonally across from the front of the New York Stock Exchange on Broad Street. But anyway, I remember going out there. This is back when I smoked, going out there for a smoke. And I'm like, where the hell are all these dog walk? Everybody's walking a dog.
Yeah.
It's like 2010, This is Wall Street. Everybody's out there walking a dog.
Yeah.
Bring your dog to work day. What the hell?
I'm sure it's quadruple that now. I'm sure there's dogs, 4 times that.
Well, that's the reason I brought that up is I think that's where New York is probably going to end up going anyway.
Yeah, just like people, are the statement that New York City was dead. I just don't see it. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't holes that need to be filled and correct.
It's got too much going for it.
Yeah, it's just like I was in Brooklyn on Saturday. I drove down Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. I got there at 3. And I made good time. That's like there's people, there's cars, it was once you got to Yankee Stadium, forget it. It was over. It was just people everywhere.
It's always been that way since young child,
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's New York. I knew that going into it, but
you schedule your trips if you're going to Jersey or wherever, it's like I can't go to Yankee. The Yankee game will be over by then. I'll never get through.
The Mets were at home, and I was gonna take the BQE back to the Triborough and whatever. And I was just like, no, the Mets are playing at 7. I gotta wait till like 10:30 before I get out of here.
Yeah, you gotta time your trips around the ball games during this time of year.
That's what I did. Yeah.
But before I get to what happened to the New York Mets this year, which I know you're chomping at the bit to rave about it.
I'm upset, but go ahead.
What's that little fireplace you got next to the gritty hour guy back there.
Oh, well, it's a salt lamp that my stepmom actually gave my ex-girlfriend for Christmas, but she kept it here, and ex-girlfriend, she didn't take it with her, so
Does she watch these podcasts, your ex-girlfriend?
I doubt it. I would guess no.
Because
But
if she does, you're gonna want that goddamn lamp back.
she might. But the last podcast we did, I think with the author Frank, I believe, or Joyce, not
Yeah,
sure.
Uh,
You said
Frank,
you,
yeah, go ahead.
you said you couldn't see the sign, so I'm like, how am I gonna like at least light it up so when people see my screen, they're like, oh, okay, that's a gritty hour. Like
Gotcha.
now you can tell it's gritty hour.
Gotcha. Especially now that we're moving into the fall, get dark earlier.
Yeah. So add a little light, and then I always put my strawberry good luck statue there. So
Well, I took my crane pool down because some fella came in. He does watercolor he does watercolor copies of masterpieces.
okay,
So I'm hanging them up temporarily behind me. I don't know if you can see them.
there's a glare, but I can kind of see it.
Yeah, there's one over there, there's one over here.
Somewhere.
So that's gonna be there till next week. So I took Eddie down for a week. So
Oh, you broke up. That's why I didn't realize you were talking.
I'm sorry, that's the other thing we got to address is the connectivity issues. I foresee a massive lawsuit.
Yeah, big time.
Uh,
Yeah. Did I mention to you? This is now connected to the Mets about the Once Upon a Time in Queens, the 30 for 30.
I believe you did. I probably didn't. Was I supposed to go look at it or something?
Well, instead of like getting right into like the heartache of this season, I would like to start off maybe on a positive note because, but ESPN did they have a docu series 30 for 30 it's called, but it's been going on for years. It's not like this brand.
Oh, were they analyze each team in the majors?
No, it's like sports stories. So like they would do one on Lance Armstrong and like his rise and then his fall. They would they did one on Dennis Rodman. They did one on. There's so many like college teams and like the like stories I guess that kind of stand out that would be like newsworthy and worth telling into a docuseries,
Right.
So
too.
So the 30 for 30 has a docuseries, all right, about the Mets, about the 86 Mets, but it's really about like part 1, 2, and 3, 84, 85, 86. So it's not just about the 86 Mets, which was kind of like a different take on it. It was cool. I mean, I know I've read about the 86 Mets. Even though I was 8, I watched, I've rewatched the series. I've rewatched, but like I still got something out of it. There was still stuff that I didn't know.
The 86 Mets and the building of the team.
Yeah, the building of the team and, like how 83 was really like, even though they weren't that good, like Darryl was the first one to come up. I didn't realize that. I thought, now looking back, I'm like, it makes sense. But like, I thought Ron Darling came through the farm system. He didn't. He was traded to the Mets.
Yeah, I want to say he came from the Texas farm system.
I just watched it. I forget already. But like, so it was Darryl was like the beginning. Then it was Doc, and then they got.
Ojeda came from the Red Sox, I think. Bob Ojeda.
That was after 85. He was like they got him at the end of 85.
Right.
So Darryl in 83, Doc in 84, Hernandez in
83.
Sorry, Darryl and then Hernandez and then Doc, and then Gary Carter in 85.
Right.
And Ron Darling around that time, and then they got Ojeda and whatever, but it profiled all of them. Like they did because it was 4-hour-long parts.
Right.
They profiled Strawberry and like his little story and Lenny's little story and all these, but then they also had them speaking about it today as 55-year-old guys or whatever they are.
Right. Oh, they're older than that.
Yeah. Like 60, whatever their age.
I remember the day they got the late great Gary Carter. It was in December of 84.
Yes, it was December. They show a clip of Monday Night Football and how the announcers be like, for all you Met fans out there, breaking news: Gary Carter signed.
Oh, it was very exciting. I'll put
Yeah.
it that way. I remember hearing the news. It was tremendous news. When you're 20, whatever I was then, 21, 22 years old. That's big news.
Yeah, it's like when the Mets got Piazza in '98. It's like it was big. It's a big deal,
Yeah.
And it was just like a nice 4-part series. But I know you know this more than me, that you don't realize how crazy that '86 team really was. They were high drunk the whole time.
Yeah, a lot of them were. Yeah.
I shouldn't. I'm generalizing. Obviously, not every single player was like Gary Carter was very clean cut. I think Mookie Wilson was pretty clean cut. I know Hernandez.
I don't know if Ray Knight was a stew ball.
He
I know Hernandez was a partier. Obviously, Doc and Darryl had their party, and they eventually had problems.
But Backman, Ojeda, they were all nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Roger McDowell, like they were all just.
Hernandez used to smoke in the dugout. Like in the hookway to the clubhouse.
Yeah, they showed a clip of him smoking a cigarette in uniform in the dugout. I'm like, man, the '80s were just different.
That's when baseball was baseball, Sean.
Yeah. You would like drink a beer, smoke a cigarette, come out, hit a double, score from second, and then go back in and have finished the beer. You're like,
it was as Uncle Steve would say, it was back in the days of wooden ships and iron men.
Yeah. I mean, it's a different game, but it was just considering it came out last week, and the Mets have pretty much the last 2 weeks. I mean, August they started to crumble, and they pretty much crumbled looking back now. But
you talking about this year?
Yeah, this year. But the nail in the coffin.
I was just going to comment that you seem to be delaying the inevitable, which is talking about.
I figured I want.
You're teaching in there. You're trying to dance around. Let's get to the nitty gritty, Shawnee boy. What the hell happened to the Mets?
You're right. I was just trying to get 5 minutes of like smiles before I unload. They fell apart as a team. Period. I mean, just period. They are like Pete Alonso was on the radio yesterday talking about like, I love this team, and I'm like, you love this team, like you guys quit. Something happened.
Was it quitting or injuries or?
No, like besides the. I mean,
no, I don't watch baseball.
Yeah, DeGrom.
So I'm relying on you to tell me what the hell happened.
Yeah, besides DeGrom being hurt and Syndergaard, but Syndergaard's been out the whole year. It's not like you knew he was coming back. They're all healthy, and like I don't know, man. It's amazing how the fucking it's amazing that they can keep doing this. It's hard to keep repeating seasons where they just collapse or they just fall apart at the end. Like that's impressive in a way. I'm like, wow, you keep having the same type of seasons over and over again. Like, wow.
How long has that been going on?
Where they were supposed to.
Is there a common denominator? Maybe there's a couple of guys on a team that are just chokers.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. To be honest, you said like you asked me what the fuck happened to the Mets. I don't honestly know, but they played Boston the last 2 nights. I quit. I had to tap out. I was like, I can't even, like they were losing last night like 6-0 in the first. I'm like, I'm done, dude. I can't with this. Like I just worked all day. I'm gonna come home and get stressed out.
Well, what I do know peripherally, pedestrianly, is you got to look at, they didn't have Syndergaard all year. They lost DeGrom a couple of months ago.
Oh no! Like if DeGrom's healthy, like what? Let's reverse 8 to 10 wins, give or take. That's a fair number. 8, let's say 8, maybe 10, because he's missed so much time.
If it's a healthy DeGrom, yeah.
Yeah. So now they're 7 games out, so they're in first place now, right? And maybe the other pitchers pitch a little bit better because I understand like it's not like losing your you lose your ace, but here's the difference. And this is the thing that concerns me about the Met team right now. I was in the pink cloud, Steve Cohen, everything's great.
The pink cloud.
Yeah, I'm living in some la la land. But then like now like I'm looking and I'm reflecting. I'm looking at the team. The trading deadline, end of July, right? Looking back, the end of July we're in first, so I'm like, this is fine. We're gonna be good. But like, I got caught up in it this year with or just not really like being maybe so practical. Like we didn't sign one pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
One pitcher. DeGrom's down. Carrasco was hurt at the time. Syndergaard's hurt. We have Stroman, Tayshaun Walker, who's pitched 60 innings in the last 2 years. I'm not knocking him, but his arm's not. And then this is what we do to replace DeGrom. Do you know what we got? We got Rich Hill, a 41-year-old guy with an 85-mile-per-hour fastball and a 72-mile-per-hour curve. That was the move we made.
Yeah.
Like they're not making moves to win. They're making moves to like plug a hole until everyone comes back. But like,
As an example, who's in first now? The Atlanta Braves, as we're speaking, there's like a week left of the season.
if you go back to a podcast, I think I said that to you in May. I'm like, it's early. The Braves are, I'm sure the Braves are going to end up being the first.
You were proven right. I'm going to give you kudos right now, for saying that. But are they in first now?
Like 7. Yeah, Phillies are like 4 back.
Well, just give me a comparison. What moves did they make in the trading deadline?
They got.
Well, maybe they didn't need to. I don't know.
They got Adam Duvall. I think his first name's Adam, but he's like he's up for MVP. They got a guy named Soler who's a great outfielder, and he's been producing. Like they lost Acuna, and then they replaced him with 2 good players. We lose DeGrom, and we replace him with a 41-year-old guy who goes 85 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Oh, you're freezing up on me.
No, it's my internet connection. It just sucks.
All right, well, we'll keep rolling. So like
Good to have a podcast with a shitey internet connection.
yeah, but it's season 1. This is when we're allowed to have mistakes.
Season 1, yeah.
But you like that's like like looking at it, like we didn't make any moves. Top tier teams added a bullpen guy. We didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, they did have their GM problems too this year.
And that was the next thing.
Wasn't there 3 of them?
Yeah, there's been.
I was going to throw an application in there for shits and giggles,
So right, we hired Jared Porter, right, and he pulls off. We traded Ahmed Rosario and this other Jimenez. I forget his last name, but he was like another shortstop. But they weren't going to get playing time. They had to get rid of one, so they got rid of both. I got Lindor, who I still think is going to be a very good player. I think he just had a tough first year in New York.
And you saying he's the team leader?
I thought he was. I don't know. I don't know if he's a problem or not right now. I don't know if he needs to, like.
I smell a problem.
You might be right. He, and I still want to talk about the GM thing. He spoke yesterday. He said, I was not good. I was, he called himself out in the media.
Is he the guy to get the finger to somebody in the stands or something?
No, Baez did that.
Okay.
Lindor was a part of the thumbs down, but there was other guys too. It wasn't just like people. They say Baez and Lindor, but there was Pilar did it. A couple other guys, it wasn't just those 2. So like
now, what was the story behind the thumbs down thing? Because this is the first time hearing about it. I think I saw in the paper with it. One of them were giving a finger to somebody. No,
it was. What I know is this them giving like a thumbs down.
It was a blurry picture.
Let me. So Lindor got booed in May. You got an accusation who's got paid $340. You got 4 weeks to figure it out. That's about in New York. You got about a month. It's cold. All right, you're struggling. You had slumping a little bit. No problem. We'll give you 4 weeks.
You better have.
It's May 8th.
May, right?
Yeah, it's May 8th, and you're still batting 190. You get booed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just New York, and he didn't know how to react to it because I'm guessing he's had so much success. He's a likable guy. They say in the clubhouse that he's a leader. They all really like him. So I'm not gonna listen to the media. I'm gonna react to how the players are reacting to him, and they all show him love. So that's the true story.
Reacting to him and they're choking every year, even though this is his first year. Maybe he might be the right guy to, emulate. You want the guy that the guys in the clubhouse emulate to be the hustler, the guy that runs out the ground ball, the guy that.
Oh, he's like that. He's like that.
Well, I was going to also say the guy that presents himself with a little decorum.
Yeah, I don't. Alonso's the other guy, but sometimes I love Alonso, but sometimes I don't think anyone's innocent. And I think that, I think Lindor is getting in New York, he's getting all the fingers. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve fingers pointing at him, but he makes $340. And so in New York, you make 340, you're supposed to be the guy.
Right,
Whether he asked for that or not, whether that's fair or not, like that's the reality.
right. But
You
how
know,
did you get to the thumbs down thing now?
so Lindor got booed in May, and like he didn't like it. And then he like one news conference in May or early June. He's just like, yeah. He's like, he always said was like, yeah, I'm like, it sucks getting booed. Like I'm not used to getting booed. I've never been booed before in my life. And then like, the whole thing came out. And like he struggled with it all year. Like it's been in his head because it came back up in August. So obviously he hasn't let it go, like he's still. And then there was a whole article written about everyone who's been booed in New York, which is fucking everybody. Name them. Name a guy who played in New York.
There are some that got a pass if you were a hustler or you were like, 100% dedicated to the team. Took it on the chin for the team every once in a while. Case in point would be Keith Hernandez. I mean, he had slumps, but he never got booed.
Yeah, no, he talked about how he got booed.
Keith?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like maybe he might have got booed for a game. Like Lindor's been kind of drawn out. Like in fairness,
Uh-huh.
Everyone's Piazza's been booed. We talked about it. Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, they've all been booed, man.
So he's got to suck it up then.
Yeah, and I think he says the right things, and he's like, like Derek Jeter said it best. He said one time when he was playing, because they referenced it, they're like, how do you feel about the fans booing? He's like, they should boo. I'm playing like crap.
Yeah, that endears you to the fans, believe it or not.
Yeah, and that's what I'm not seeing yet, and Lindor gets a free pass. You get 1 year free pass in my mind. I'm not gonna kill you because because I watched Carlos Beltran, and I've mentioned this before. 2005, he was horrendous. We signed him to the whatever. He hit like 15 homers, batted like 240.
Beltran?
Yeah, his first year.
The following year was good, yeah.
He was the second in MVP voting. So I'm not gonna go too crazy with Lindor. So back to the thumbs down. So then, it's August. We're in first place. We have 13 straight games against the Giants and the Dodgers, home and away, or whatever. We go 2-11. 7 of the 11 losses, we lose by 1 run.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that we win 3 of those. We're now 5-8. And
where does the fault lie on that stretch?
What's up?
If they lost by 1 run, you can't really fault the pitching staff then, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like they haven't been hitting all year. We've talked about this numerous times. They've hit a little bit better the last, since that 2-11. Nothing that like I'm excited about. And the fans were letting them hear it because they went from five games in first to 5 games in third, or 5 games out of it. You're like, what? It's just 2 guys. It's 2 weeks. So of course they're gonna boo, and they weren't just booing Lindor; they were booing the team,
right?
And then Baez went into the news. It's like, just keep it in house, guys. I don't understand, right? He said, "This is Baez. He's been here for a quarter cup of a coffee."
Now, what does he do?
He plays what's he play? What was his?
What does he play?
Second right now, but he's short. He's a great. I said it to someone today. I said he's the best player I've ever seen, and in the next inning, he's one of the worst players I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. That's a great way to define him. I'm like, 1 inning, I'm blown away by how I'm like, what was that? That was ridiculous. And the next inning, I'm like, dude, he's terrible.
So he's inconsistent.
Yeah, but he's been better the last couple of weeks. He really has. So he says in the interview, it's tough being booed by the home fans. Ready? We need them to be better.
Okay. So he wasn't coached by anybody as to what to say.
You just went 2-11, lost 7 games by 1 run, and you're saying we need to be better. What the balls?
He said the fans need to do better.
Oh yeah, dude, but I'll say this to the fans. They haven't outright destroyed them. They've kept supporting them this whole time. When they do well, they cheer. When they get into bad slumps, they boo. So it sounds like the manager's going to get fired. 99% sure that's happening. Back to the GMs. We hired Jared Porter. He got us Lindor and Carrasco for peanuts.
Well, that answers my question because I was gonna bring something else up, but he's the one that secured Lindor.
Yeah, it was. Listen, at the time, no one, everyone, the whole world loved that move. It was an amazing move. So I'm not. You can't. Like now, some people are like I don't know. Guys, no, there's not one person
He
that
got Lindor and who?
The pitcher Carrasco,
Oh, what's his first name?
Carlos.
Carlos. Okay.
Used to be a really good pitcher. He's a decent. He's a good pitcher. He's not terrible or anything. And then they find out that he's having some sex scandal. I was just like, this are you? And I'm like, you know what? Steve Cohen, Pink Cloud, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Mhm.
We're in first place in May. People are getting hurt left and right. Don't worry about it. Like I was just ignoring all the signs.
Well, I tried to adjust your point of view because you were saying Steve Cohen's money. He's spending your money. You're a season ticket holder.
Oh yeah, no, once you said it, it clicked.
Yeah, I mean, he spent his money to buy the team, but now he's spending your money.
Yeah, and next year's season tickets they went up. Oh yeah,
There you go. Someone's got to pay for this this phenomenal team they assembled.
Yeah, it's, 5 games below 500. So the next GM is Zach Scott. So Zach Scott is the one that was the GM of the trading deadline.
What happened? What happened to the Lindor GM? What was his name again?
Jared Porter. He was in some sexting scandal. Like he was like sending inappropriate pictures to
A minor?
a girl, but no. I think I'm pretty sure she was of age, but she didn't want him to. That was the problem.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what I didn't. I just kept. I was like, I'm gonna keep living my life. I can't worry about some guys texting situation. Like I don't care enough. So he moved on, but I knew that sucked because he was actually very well liked throughout all of baseball. He had tons of connections. He was actually going to become a very good GM if he didn't have this dark black cloud over him.
Well, maybe he'll become one somewhere else.
Yeah. So then
they don't have the internet.
Yeah. I mean, then Zach Scott was the GM of the trading deadline. We got Javi Baez.
Where are they getting these GMs from? Other teams?
He was the assistant. He was, like a GM in training. Like he's been in the league for a while, but then he signs Rich Hill, my favorite pitcher of all. Every time he pitches, I'm like, this is the DeGrom spot. This is fucking annoying.
His middle name is over there.
I have a hard time watching him. Say that again.
His middle name is over there.
Yeah, exactly. Over there. But I have to give you, he's not terrible.
Yeah.
But like the Dodgers, they get Max Scherzer, right? All these top teams, they get, some key piece. We get Rich Hill. You're just like, all right. And then Javi Baez came, but then he got in trouble with Zach Scott. He got arrested for a DUI in White Plains.
Oh yeah, didn't he have drugs in his car too, or something stupid?
I think I lost you.
Didn't he have drugs in his car also, or is that Mr. Met?
You're frozen.
Huh?
Yes. So Zach Scott, he got
Mr. Met had the drugs. The other guy was driving drunk.
Yeah. So I mean, if you start putting the whole thing together, you're just like,
morality wise, decorum wise, the Mets are really shown through this year. Huh?
Yeah. I mean, there's a new owner, and it seems like he's a little bit over his head. He's like, like he's knee deep, and he's trying to figure out how to get through it.
Well, I mean, you got to get some people that aren't bums,
Yeah. So, but at the same time, Sandy Alderson is just as much to blame because he actually is the president and CEO, and he's done all the. I'm sure Steve Cohen, he's right there with it, but he's the baseball experienced guy that signed off on all this. And it's like Sandy Alderson, like you come from a pretty good pedigree of baseball experience. Like I don't know where the fuck you are either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
right now he's the GM, but like the season's a wash, and it's gonna be interesting, man.
Well, the guy I wanted to bring up was the guy they didn't get, which I remember they were sort of kind of in the running back in April for that guy Bauer, who turned out to be he's definitely mentally insane. He might be criminally insane. This guy.
Yeah. What did he? abuse somebody or something? I'm not even sure
I
what
don't
they
know.
did.
I just watching something the other day about that. It's like, this guy's nuts. And it turns out he probably always was. Like in college, he was a nut job. So at least Steve Cohen didn't spend your money on him.
He tried to though.
Yeah. I mean, they were in the running for a while.
Yeah. So yeah, well, supposedly he used us to jack up his price so the Dodgers would give him a certain amount, whatever. But
That's fine.
that's nothing about me.
How much increases your season ticket for next year?
I think it's $100 each. But times, let's say 50, times 10,000 people.
Oh yeah, that's my point. Imagine how much higher it would have been had they gotten Bauer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But then previously in a podcast, we mentioned the insurance company and then the reinsurance company. The Mets, you wouldn't have had to pay for Bauer.
Yeah.
No offense to my good friend George Bauer, no relation. But so sometimes the moves you don't make are the best ones.
I also and obviously, that there's, like I'm down on them, but I'm also not like completely down on them because I will say this, right? And like we've talked about this before, like they're not far away. I know it sounds like it, but they're not. They're not like, it's not like you could like, and the announcers have said it, like I've heard analysts say it, like they have the pieces. There's just something that they're missing. I don't know if it's the team chemistry, it's the DNA needs to change. I don't know. I'm not in the
brought up the 30 thing that the 84, 85, 86 Mets. You mentioned that.
Yeah.
I can tell you most of the people I followed the Mets with at the time, my friends, and they came very, very close to winning the pennant in 85. I think they finished maybe probably 3 games out, maybe, or 2 games out. I mean, it was right down the line with the Mets and the Cardinals. But even when they were eliminated, which this crop of Mets are, right? Are they mathematically eliminated?
I'll check right now. I don't believe so. I think they're like,
but right, they got to win the next 12, and the
Atlanta's got to lose the next 12.
Get into a plane crash or something. But anyway, you had a feeling that in the next year, 86, they were going to come back. Almost universally, the fans were, we came really close, but we're coming back. 86 could kick some ass.
Yeah.
You have that feeling about the 2022 Mets?
No. Right now, I'll be honest with you. Like, I just want to see some consistency and cohesiveness with this team. And like, so here's the history of the Mets. Like, this team is connected to 2015. There's still pieces of the World Series team on this team.
Who's still on there from 15?
Conforto, DeGrom.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were just coming up. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, they were all 3 of them played big roles in those World Series,
Yeah.
Familiar was on the team. So, I mean, it's only 4 guys, but there's still a presence there. So this team and that leadership, like,
there's been talk of Terry Collins coming back as a manager for next year. I don't think this manager is going to survive the offseason.
Oh no, Rojas, he's gone. He's gone. The team has stopped believing in him. Like, I don't know what happened. But like, whatever. I can't see him being here. But if you look at this team, in 15, they made the run. 16, they made the playoffs. They made the wild card game and they lost. Baumgartner outpitched Syndergaard.
15, they went to the series.
That's what I mean. It's 15, they made the run. 16, and then 17, 18, right? They were just not good.
Rebuilding.
Yeah. And then 19, Alonso's rookie year.
Well, in all fairness, that's when David Wright's injury started to force his decline.
He was pretty much done. So yeah, like they were like
he was the Mike Piazza of the team for that era.
Yes. Yeah, he was a star. And then 19, they made a run. They were 86 and 78 or 76, whatever they were. And they were like, they missed the playoffs by like 2 games. You're like, okay, this is our 83. This is our 84. You're seeing it. Conforto starting to grow. McNeil came out of nowhere. All these guys like the team that we have 19, like no one, I don't know if, I'm sure real Met fans remember, but 2019 was our 83, 84 concept.
Right.
Like you're like, okay, you see like, wow, they're turning. and DeGrom's turning into he just won a Cy Young, and then like he went back to back, and now Syndergaard's starting to turn, and like you're like, oh,
That's the fundamental thing. If I could throw this in here, pitching, you get a good solid start in 5, your pitching staff can cover a lot of
problems. Yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
So,
And then last year was concerning. Like I was more concerned about last year than I am this year. Right. Something happened from 19 to 20 that's still there. And I couldn't tell you because
it was sold.
no, but yeah, I don't know, but the way they hit this year is the same way they hit last year. Same exact thing. So something
And I've mentioned before in a previous podcast, I remember reading this article that it's going to be the greatest offensive team the Mets have ever fielded.
oh we're like
Now you tell me they went what 2-11 and 8 of those things they lost by 1 run.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
so much for the greatest offensive team.
No, they don't so I don't know. I don't know if analytics, because they ramped up their analytics team this year. I don't know if that's playing a factor. And now all of a sudden guys are changing things. And who knows, That's a real.
Never been a fan. I think it's overly analyzed, the numbers. I think the numbers are overly analyzed. And this might be a crystal clear case in point where you can have numbers. You can have, this guy will score from second on you can analyze the thing to death. But without a leader on the team or a core of leaders on a team is just going to flounder regardless of how good they are.
Yeah.
So if anything, this team might be that, the personification of that rule of thumb.
It could be. I mean, you take a Tony Gwynn. Great. I think this is a good example. Tony Gwynn, besides Ted Williams, he's the greatest hitter. Tony Gwynn's the greatest hitter I've ever seen.
Rod was the greatest hitter, right? So, but you are Rod Carew.
Yeah, okay. So Tony Gwynn, the Rod Carew, yeah, like guys like that, the Ted Williams, guys that could just hit the baseball, right? Tony Gwynn, he wasn't a power hitter, so I understand that, right? But imagine going to Tony Gwynn when he's like 28, but like, God, we want you to pull and yank the ball in the air 8 out of 10 times now.
Yeah, we need 35 homers out of you.
You're like, what is wrong with you?
He would have never hit 300 again if he did that.
They would have ruined him. And I think that's what's happening to guys across baseball. They're turning him into, they say the percentage, the percentage works if you can do it. It's like, right. That's like asking me, Sean, I want you to start teaching a different way that I don't, and like that I'm not comfortable with. I'm sure I'm not going to have a lot of success, or it's not going to feel right, or I'm going to be in my head, or I'm going to overthink stuff, or whatever. Like I see it, and and this connects to last night. I was watching, I did watch the first 2 innings, like I said, whatever. Michael Conforto, Todd Zeile was just like, if you look at his career, he's a center field to left field type hitter with power, and he's like almost. The numbers were crazy. Him pulling the ball, he went from like 22% in last year to like 46% this year.
So he's trying to pull the ball more.
Yeah, and he's batting 100 points lower.
Well, there you go.
You're just like, what?
The answer to your own question.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing? So.
Well, I think it starts in the colleges and the minor leagues. That's what they're giving these guys to be. One trick ponies.
Yeah, the one-dimensional.
You get a big guy like Alfonso, they're not going to teach him to hit down at third when there's nobody on anybody. Like, he's a lefty, right?
No, he's a righty. Oh,
he's a righty. I'm sorry. Yeah, he is a righty. I should have known that.
He pokes it to right field. He's not like a home run wise. He's kind of a dead pull guy, but when it comes to hitting, he's more center field to right field.
Well, the point I wanted to make was you have these, I don't know if these teams are still doing this, where you have a dead pull hitter come up, whether it be lefty or righty. They'll move the whole infield over to that side of the field. They still do that as a strategy.
Oh yeah, that's like, I'll go back to Conforto. It's ready. So the shortstop plays short, the second baseman plays second base, and usually the third baseman goes into that short right field, and first base is first base. So they create that triangle. You got the two guys here, and then the guy out. So it's like that triangle. And then yeah,
But I've seen teams move the entire infield like if you have a dead lefty pull hitter, he's a dead pull hitter. I've seen them put the third baseman like 10 feet on the left side of the second base.
oh yeah, they do stuff like that, sure.
And eliminate the gap. We use the shortstop on the right-hand side with the second baseman, slapping the first baseman's ass. That's how close you are.
That's I mean they now the term is the shift.
But those guys, those dead pull hitters, they're not taught that how to hit down a third. You got to see double or more. Because you know what I mean?
It's crazy to me. Like that's like in football. This actually, I think this is a good comparison. A running back sees a hole and sees a clog, and he's going to run to the clog. You're like, why? They would never do that. That's just common sense. That's like logical thinking. Like, this is wide open. This is crowded. Why wouldn't I hit it there?
Well, why aren't they?
Because
Because
analytics, I'm not an expert on it, but analytics says percentage-wise, hit it over their heads. Don't hit it at them.
in baseball.
In baseball.
But why isn't the running back going to the clear field?
No, the running back is. That's what I'm saying. Like only baseball. The only sport I know right now.
You're saying, yeah, okay, yeah.
The only sport that's hitting into a crowded space. That's like in basketball. You're double teamed. What would he like? The golden rule: pass the ball. Someone is wide open. It's, like in baseball right now, they're triple teamed and still trying to get through the triple team. You're like, I don't get it.
Yeah, that's it. I don't get basketball now either. I mean, if you're a star player like LeBron James, they're giving you a 3-lane highway to make your layup.
Yeah.
I've seen guys make layups that are what do you call it, where you bounce the ball over your shoulder? You're not supposed to bounce the ball over your shoulder.
Yeah, like you mean up here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Dribble travel.
Traveling or goaltending, whatever the hell they call it.
A carry, maybe a carry.
Huh?
A carry.
Yeah, I've seen guys do that routinely now.
Oh, it's a different.
In the 40 seconds a week, I watch an NBA highlight. But
I was in a ever since the Menzie podcast.
Which one?
The one where we did live, us three.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, I don't use social media. I use a little bit of YouTube. I went through like a 3-week stretch. I was just in YouTube for like hours. I was like laughing about it. I'm like, who the fuck am I? But I got into like a YouTube hole with Michael Jordan highlights, and then they have like Michael Jordan to me is.
Oh, you were in YouTube hell, in other words.
Yeah, Michael Jordan to me is like the almighty basketball player. But that's just my.
You went on YouTube to learn how to fix a washer and dryer, and you ended up watching Michael Jordan layups.
So then they had a video, or maybe I watched one of like Michael Jordan in the 80s and 90s. He would be dunking on people, but there'd be 4 guys covering him.
Yeah, can you imagine if he was playing today?
He scores 50, 60 points a game.
100 a game. Yeah.
LeBron James goes for a layup. There's one guy, and he's like just going by it.
Yeah.
So like it's I'm not like LeBron James is amazing. I'm not that's not what this is about. It's not about who's better, but like
taking things away from him.
Yeah, it's a different game. It's just a different,
So. Well, I'm still not 100% sure, but I'm still relying on you to tell me why the Mets sucked.
I'm be honest with you.
I want you to put the finger on the pulse and tell me the reason.
Logic.
Mm-hmm.
This is my logic thought, and I'll give you my emotional thought.
Mm-hmm.
Logic thought is that ever since they got Baez, they fucking shit the bed. That's a fact.
And when did they pick him up? At the deadline?
No. Yeah, like July 31st. July 31st, they got him. They were in first place by like 4 games. Since then, they're 8 games out of first.
So maybe he's a cancer in the clubhouse.
I'm be honest with you. I don't know. I really don't know.
I need you to go out and find out.
Yeah. Emotionally, somewhere along the lines, something broke down in the clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is.
I don't think it was your 2 pitching studs being on the shelf for some or all of the year.
No, because when they were out, the Mets were still playing like competitive baseball. Ever since the giant Dodgers 13 game run, it doesn't like they're just hot. They're hot and cold, and now they're just fucking cooked.
How was the bullpen this year?
Like they were great, but they used them so much because of our pitching staff was so. Like Stroman would have 80 pitches, he'd be pitching 5 innings, and they would take him out.
Yeah, don't get me started on that friggin' strategy.
And like he took last year off, and Jerry Blevins, which is I don't know if you remember his name, he was a Met bullpen guy. He said it's a real thing. It's a real thing with pitchers when you had a year off that you can't just go out there and throw 210 innings. So I was like, all right, that's fine. But like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, when we were still like 4 or 5 out, he took him out. And like we were winning 2-0. And I'm like, he had another inning, maybe inning and a half in, and I'm like, this is fucking crunch time. And like that's when Luis Rojas for me, I was like, I'm done with you because
Well, how did well, I don't know if that's the thing. I don't know if today's major league manager, how much of the shots they call,
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because baseball.
They have, as you would say, the juice. I'm not sure they have the juice they used to have.
I don't know. But he's not like emotionally. What I really see is I see a team that it seems like they gave up.
Well, how was the middle relief? Getting back to what you were just saying about taking guys out too early.
Aaron Loop. I don't know if you know the name.
No.
He's a lefty. He's our best lefty. He's having a historic. His ERA is a 1.
Wow.
He's given up. Like his numbers are like lights out.
Where was he generally taken into the game in?
Seventh inning, which is an important.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you have Miguel Castro, and Trevor May. They've been good, but they were like Miguel Castro got used so much in the beginning that I think he ran out of gas. Familia was amazing for 3 months, and now every inning he gets up a run because like he's not.
What do you think?
Yeah, they're all overworked.
Because wasn't that his profile back in the day also?
Yeah, they're overworked. I didn't love how
like a great first half, a mediocre second half. Wasn't that his modus operandi back in the day also?
He's like Armando Benitez then. He's good.
Jesus, Mary,
close to the end, and it's like,
yeah.
I didn't like how the bullpen was used. I think they were overused. I know that they needed to overuse them, and and in also fairness, we had like 8 doubleheaders in a month. There was some things that didn't go our way. But like we never
reason for the 8 doubleheaders.
The weather. We had Washington Nationals the first weekend. They had COVID. It was the only time all year where like a team had to like cancel games for COVID, which is weird. But so yeah, like bullpen, the pitching staff fell apart. Asked me like, what the fuck happened? I've kind of been all over the place, but in reality, the pitching staff pitched really well in the first half, and they did not pitch well in the second half.
Okay, so that's the logical. What's the emotional?
But
you were going to give me the logical and the emotional.
Emotional is like Byers got here and something happened. Like what I'm saying, the logical is that I could prove that. I could prove that the pitching staff sucked. I could prove that the hitting never came around. I could prove that the bullpen was gassed out and slowed down. But Byers got here and something changed.
So your gut is telling you it was Baez coming on board, and but the stats don't back it up. Is that what you mean?
No, like logically, all the stats will back up why they've crumbled. But how I feel emotionally is, and this isn't about Baez. I like.
What did they give up for him?
Their 5th prospect. He was a center fielder. He was coming off of arm surgery.
And what kind of roster move they make to fit him in there?
Yeah, McNeil went to the outfield.
Okay, but somebody got dropped off the 25-man roster, right?
Yeah, Dominic Smith went to the bench, and then I don't even know, to be honest with you. I can't think of.
Should Dominic Smith have gone to the bench?
I don't want to see him in a Met uniform.
Dominic Smith?
Yeah, he's done.
Oh yeah, because you were pretty praising him pretty well in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he last year,
and he was saying he was functional. In other words, as I recall, you were saying he catches everything that comes his way, at least, because he was playing left field.
Yeah, and then I don't know what happened, but he just fell off.
Offensively, defensively, or both?
Defensively, he got sloppier, and then offensively, he has 11 home runs.
Hmm.
He's played all year. He hasn't been hurt. And then obviously the last 3 weeks to a month, he hasn't been playing inconsistent. But like Conforto missed 2 months, had a slump. He's got better numbers than him. You're like, what? Like, that's not good.
And what about McNeil?
He went to left. I liked him at second. I didn't know why. Like, JD Davis is gone. Right.
Now, he was the starting third baseman in the beginning of the year.
But I never liked him at third base. I liked him as a hitter.
But
like,
wait, where has he gone to?
I think his contract's up. He's just
He's not going to come back, you mean?
yeah, no.
Okay, but how did he hit this year?
Oh, he batted 290, hit 4 home runs.
Well, he's never been a home run hitter, right?
Oh yeah, in 2019 he had 20 something home runs. He batted 300 and something.
Okay.
Like he
Where was he at the time?
Now
No, where was he when he hit the 24 homers?
he was on the Mets in 19.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean he came halfway through the season, but he was a power, like not power, but he had power.
Where did he come from?
Houston.
It's not a hitter's park either.
Yeah. So but he's gone. Villar, he's I like Villar a lot, but he's not an everyday, like I knew he was a bench player, but I like him. He's a good fill-in if someone gets hurt for sure.
All right. In the few minutes we have left, I don't want to interrupt you, but in the few minutes we have left, well, we could talk another hour. I don't give a crap, call it the gritty 2 hours.
There you go.
But I wanted to touch on what you, Sean E. Boy, thinks the moves that need to be made for 2022.
Whew. Oh, I thought about this. Oh yeah.
No, I had a feeling you might have. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, number one priority is DeGrom has to be healthy. We ain't going anywhere without that guy.
Right.
Right. Number two is Syndergaard has to be healthy, and if he's not, we got to get a pitcher of his caliber into the rotation.
Mhm.
All right. Tejon Walker signed.
Who's the rest of the rotation right now?
Right.
Like if those two guys were healthy and pitching, who would be the
Those two guys? Stroman, but he's a free agent, and I don't care. Like like if we sign him, fine, but like I don't want to overpay for him. If he walks, I'm fine with it.
What was his record in the ERA this year?
9.13 with a 3.
Oh.
Yeah, like
Sounds like with a little offensive support, he might have been. I mean, 3 is a pretty respectable ERA.
but he pitches 5.5 innings an outing.
Well, still 3 prorated, right? On 9 innings.
Yeah, I know, but like but I need you to pitch 6 to 7.
Yeah, well, definitely. You need innings. You have to have an inning. You have to have at least one guy in your starting 5 that eats up a couple of hundred innings a year.
Yeah. And like he was our ace, and he did that's the thing. Like what you just said, I'm going to support it. DeGrom's out, Syndergaard's out there, so Stroman's our main guy, and he's pitching 5 innings a fucking night.
Well, there you go. That might be the nitty gritty right there.
Yeah, that's
and DeGrom, his presence, even when he wasn't pitching, his presence on the roster may have been or his lack of a presence on the roster may have been a contributing factor to the demise also.
Yes, I'm actually looking up. I want to see Stroman's innings this year. I don't want to maybe, but I'm pretty sure it's not even at 175, and he's got like a start or 2 left.
Well,
oh, okay. I have to take it back. He's at 174.
So that's pretty healthy for a number 3 starter.
Yeah, not for your number 1. Your number 1 you want.
Well, he was number 1 out of necessity, though, right?
Yeah. So maybe I'm being a little hard on him.
But he dumped the load on him is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you can't physically, if a guy throws, he's got 2 starts left.
Yeah. So
the guy throws 185 innings. You can't expect him to do 225. You can't dump that on him.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm wrong, but you don't know what's going on down there.
No, I'm probably being a little bit hard on him. So I just don't want to overpay for him. That's kind of like, I don't want to drop like 60 million, 2-3 year on him. Like,
Are you locked in at that $100 increase?
Yeah.
Or can they increase it again before April?
Protesting outside. So
that's the thing. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
DeGrom.
Yeah.
If Stroman stays and it's reasonable, I'm fine with it. Like he's a good pitcher. Like he's got skill. Like I don't hate him.
You've been keeping track of the recovery. Like what are the What are the chances of Syndergaard and DeGrom coming back
He's
healthy?
gonna pitch the 28th. He just had his first rehab yesterday. It went well. 1 inning, no pain. His arm felt fine.
Who?
Just Syndergaard.
Syndergaard, okay.
So but he's gonna pitch bullpen. He's gonna throw like an inning in the pros. He's not gonna.
This year.
Yeah, this year. And then DeGrom supposedly the last weekend.
Velocity.
Say it again.
What was his velocity during the,
Mid-90s.
okay,
Yeah, it's fine. He's only throwing changeups and fastballs, I think, for this year.
smart.
Yeah. The DeGrom's supposed to be come back the last weekend. I don't really know why, but maybe if they want to get an inning or two just to have him pitch. Fine. In my mind, I'm like, dude, DeGrom's the type of guy, like, let him rest. He'll be fine next year. I'm not worried about a guy
It
like
might be good for his own mental state, sitting on the winter, knowing he put a couple of innings in.
That's true. That's true. That's a fair point. But those two guys are the key to next year. And again, if one of them is not ready, we have to replace them with someone who's as equal. Now, with DeGrom, there's not going to be, there's only like one or two guys that might even be somewhat equal to him, but like something like that, like a bigger pitcher, right? That's it. That's the priority number one. Our pitcher staff has to get put into place because our bullpen's not that far away. Like, I'm not that worried about our bullpen. I think they got overused. Not familiar. I can live without him. I love him, but like, I think he's starting to hit the end of his career.
Is his contract up?
He's got one more. He's done. I'm not sure. But the bullpen is like, obviously you want to add a bullpen.
The closer next year, you can live with it, is what you're saying.
Yeah. But my dream is, if you really want me to talk about what I want to do, I want to make Syndergaard the closer. That's what he's going to do. Get a picture of his, because if you think about Syndergaard, like he's a good pitcher, but he's not like a great pitcher. He's not like I'm not like, oh my God, like he's a good pitcher.
Well, he's not he's a thrower.
Yeah,
Thrower.
which is better for the bullpen.
Yeah, he's not a strategical pitcher. Never was.
I would love to make him our closer, and then Diaz become, and everyone's role in the bullpen drops down, so like Diaz becomes an eighth inning pitcher, which I think would suit him better, and then DeGrom, and then get a pitcher, get like a pitcher of that quality, and then Stroman 3, and then Walker 4, and then we have that rookie David Peterson who's got hurt, who will come back and be our 5th.
Okay.
That would be, a solid, and then obviously try to get 1 or 2 arms, but not, maybe Carlos Carrasco's under contract. Maybe he's our 6th guy, whatever. Like now you have a pitching depth. You got a bullpen that just added a monster arm at the end of it that pushes everyone, down an inning. So the pressure's off them, and then that's the pitching. All right.
Uh-huh.
Defensively, we need a left fielder.
I was going to say, start me at the who's staying, who's going.
Okay. All right.
Start from number 2.
Catcher. McCann has to stay because he signed a 4-year, $40 million deal.
How did he do this year, by the way?
Not so good. Yeah, what is he? 240, 10 jacks, 40 to 50 ribs. But like, you need to have 20 jacks, 70 ribs. I don't care. The 240.
How was he defensively?
He was good, and then he wasn't. Like he's good. In the beginning, I'm like, wow, he's really good. And then like he kind of fell off. But he dealt with injuries. So, you don't know. Maybe he's hurting. Maybe he's trying to catch with a bad knee. Who knows? So he's staying, whether whether you want him to or not. So.
And you're sort of ambivalent about it, whether he stays, whether he's or not.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to give Lindor a pass, he gets a pass. But next year, you better fucking come correct. I said,
I think you and the rest of the fans have to come correct too.
Yeah, we need to be better.
We have to be better.
I mean, I watch every night. I go to the games. I spend my money. I need to be better. Okay.
Yeah. Try harder, Sean.
Yeah. Alonso is going nowhere. He's got 34 homers, 90-something ribs. He's batting 260. He's a gamer.
Yeah.
So that's the one guy I'm not worried about.
And you said you're satisfied with him defensively.
Yes, I think you could win a World Series with him at first base. Mm-hmm. For sure. I mean, is he a top 3? No, but is he a top in the National League? Would I say maybe like the 6th best, something like that? Maybe.
Let's get to the interesting position now.
Can I skip to the outfield before I get to the infield?
If you feel like you need to, yeah.
No, I'll get into it.
Scorecard in front of me, so you can jump wherever the hell you want.
Yeah. So this is what I would do. All right. either you like don't pussyfoot around it. You're either signing Baez or you're not. Let's not drag this shit on.
Mhm.
Right? If you sign him, I can live with it. I can. Because like I said, like he's been a lot better.
So his contract is up this year.
The free agent. Yeah, he's gonna want 250.
Reason they got him in July in the first place.
Yeah, he's gonna want $30 million a year though.
Mhm.
You know, like Steve Cohen, like, are you willing to, I'm not saying Baez is the answer. I said I can live with it because based on the other things I would like to do.
Right.
McNeil had the worst year. Like he's just going to be better. He's too good. He's too good of a hitter to be this fucking shitty.
So you want to move him back to second.
Second, Baez to third, Lindor at short. Right. So you got
Okay, who's playing third now?
Baez. He's that good of an infielder. He doesn't matter.
Second then.
What?
Who's playing second?
No. Oh, now Baez is at second, and then Villar has been at third.
Oh, okay, so you want to move Baez over to third if they keep him,
Yeah.
Neil back
McNeil-
to second.
And
And
then-
Lindor at short.
and Lindor short. So then you have a righty at third, a switch hitter at short, a lefty at second, and a righty at first. So you have a balanced offensive bats,
Okay,
and you got to go.
let's go right to left because that's where the gap is in left. So you want, is Conforto staying in right?
Well, he said that's what I want to.
Here we go, here we go.
That's what I want to finish with because I told you that's my guy. If I had to pick up I don't really have favorite players, but like Mike Conforto, I've watched him since he was. I was at the game where he hit the fucking 2 home runs in the World Series. Like he's a rookie. Like like I'm connected to him. So, left field, we need a left fielder. We need a left fielder with power. We need like a 1999, 2006 left field bat with some fucking jack to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that could play.
It has, you would prefer a lefty?
No, I want a righty because Nimmo's a lefty, and if they keep Conforto, he's a lefty. So I'm gonna righty.
You need a right-handed heavy hitter.
Remember Matt Halliday? Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which Forster I was thinking.
Yeah. Without a guy who could fucking play the field and who has got some pop.
Uh-huh.
You don't need to bat 300, but bat 250, hit 30 jacks, 25 jacks, hit 80 to 90 ribs.
I'll wait till you talk about center field before I find out if you're making sense or not. Hit it.
All right. Center field.
Mhm.
So this is the trickiest thing. I don't know what to do with him.
Nimmo?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love him. He's the spark plug. He gets the offense going.
What was his average? What was his stolen bases? That's the only two things I want to know.
He bats 300. On base is 415.
Okay.
They don't steal.
Okay.
Plays an above average center field, like not like above average. Like he's become a good center fielder. His arm is, but like he's not throwing people out.
Well, you don't really need it in center, but go ahead. I'm listening.
But he gets hurt 3 times a year, and he's out for like 2 weeks, a month. Like I've never seen him play a complete season, so it's like.
Well, because he's a hard-nosed ball player, and you do need a spark plug.
Yeah. So.
But do you need him at leadoff? Is I don't want to.
The best thing they did when they went on that, so they were down like 6 games, and then after the terrible stretch with the Dodgers, and then they put Nimmo batting second, and all of a sudden we were scoring 6 runs a game, 7 runs a game.
Who was leading off?
Villar, the third baseman, and then it was Lindor, Alonso. Like we were just it was, and then he got hurt, and then we shit the bed. Literally, we shit the bed when he got hurt.
He being who?
Nimmo.
Okay.
So he's a spark. He's an offensive spark.
Maybe there's the gritty, the nitty gritty.
That's what I saw when I was watching. Like him batting second was a big difference. I just don't know what to do because this is year 4 with him, and it's every year it's the same. So it's like, why would next year be different?
So he's been injured for vast swaths of all 4 seasons.
Yes. Like he's missed a decent time.
Mm-hmm.
So the solution would be like, so what they did is they got Pilar as the right-handed bat to fill in for him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like 35. I want like a young rookie, like the Mookie Lenny. So I want like a Lenny to come up.
Right. Are you still committed to Conforto?
Okay. This is the big one.
Yeah. Okay. See, this is the grand finale here.
I mean, I'm gonna try to take away the emotion. It's 7 years, and he hasn't put together a full season.
Due to injury or due to inconsistent play?
both.
Okay,
He hasn't. 1 year he missed the whole second half because of an oblique, like it was like a different type of oblique injury, like he like yanked it out or something. Um, but I don't know what to do with. Like,
well,
my,
I don't know, I don't expect you to know this like off the top of your head, but how is he in terms of hitting? How is he against lefties versus righties, you know? Generally, not specifically, but
career wise,
well, yeah, I guess, or this year specifically.
this year atrocious against lefties.
Atrocious against lefties?
Yeah, career wise, he's good against lefties.
Really?
I,
Interesting.
I, I have a feeling the analytics team told him to pull and it fucked him up, and they gave him a bunch of information and it fucked him up.
Hmm.
So last year he batted 322,
Mhm.
10 home in 60 games, had 10 home runs, had like 40 ribs or whatever he had.
That was the COVID year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
And all he did was slap the
I
ball.
would throw that out the window though. But go ahead.
But that's how he played last year, is how he played his first 2 seasons.
Okay.
And then he started to pull and he started to struggle. And then he went back to it last year and he started success. And
I
then this year,
remember when he was a rookie, he was known for his left center field shots.
that's his game.
Yeah.
And like he went away from that this year. And like
Maybe he was trying, maybe the pitches adapted to that and started pitching him inside. So he's adapting to that. You don't know.
no, I watched so many of his bats like closely. The outside pitch he just took.
Really? A pitch he would drive.
To left center.
Okay. So he's looking for the inside pitch.
Yeah, I don't know if whatever. I don't know the true answer.
Well,
This-
before you, oh, go ahead.
This is what I would do
Mm-hmm.
if this is contingent to this.
Mm-hmm.
If we get a lefty power hitting outfielder, sign Conforto to a 1 year and say prove yourself. If he doesn't take it, he doesn't take it.
If you get a lefty swinging power hitter.
No, a right-handed left fielder.
Oh,
Power hitter.
a left fielding power hitter, a left fielder, a power hitting left fielder,
But he's a righty.
but a
Yeah.
righty. Okay, because what I was thinking, when even before you got to your grand finale, was maybe Conforto as a candidate for you know, lefty righty thing.
Now he's gonna want. I. This may be me being emotional. I think he's gonna be a really good player. I still believe that you could see it. There's times you're like, man, this guy can hit.
Well, you know how the Mets go. He's not going to be good until they trade him.
Yeah. So, but he's a free agent this year. So if they give him a qualifying offer for like a year and an option for 2 or something like that, whatever those, and he takes it, great. If he walks, he walks. Like it is what it is.
Walks, they'll have to get a left fielder and a right fielder.
Yeah, they'll get compensation though too from the team. If
Right.
you could qualify, but like I can't right now be like, Conforto, you deserve a 5-year, 125 contract. Like that's crazy talk.
But you think it's out of the question for them to get a power hitting left fielder and then a power hitting right fielder that's not good against righties and to just rotate him and Conforto and right?
I guess that's an option. But I'd rather have the because center field, I want to kind of have that Mookie Lenny because Nimmo gets hurt so much.
Mm-hmm.
So then are you going to have 2 platoons in outfield? That's a lot of space on the bench you're giving up for other stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Because Conforto, even though he did pull a hamstring this year, for the most part, is a healthy player. Like he doesn't have I'm not like worried about him getting hurt usually.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know, T, to be honest with you. Like Conforto's a tricky one. Like I want to see him come back, but at 5 years, which is what he's gonna want, because his agent Scott Boras, Scott Boras, he's gonna try to get. So like I 5 years, and like if he has another down year, now like that means that's kind of who he is.
Now you're on the hook. Yeah.
Yeah. So but if he takes like a 1 and second year option qualifying kind of thing, then
Usually guys with 7 years major league experience don't do that.
yeah, I know.
How
But
old is he?
28, 27, 28.
So this is gonna have to have,
He's looking to get paid.
I was gonna say this is his make or break
Yeah.
free
So,
agency year. Yeah.
so I have a feeling he's gonna walk. I have a feeling he's not coming back.
Well, then they'll have to get a left fielder and a right fielder.
Yeah.
Yeah, how you feeling? Can you check some flies first?
I don't know. I would love to shake some flies at City Field. That'd be fun. That'd be a good time.
As long as the game ain't being played.
Daytime, nobody around, just a few of us. Yeah.
Well, I'll close this episode. We'll tuck the Mets away for the year and
Yeah,
just
let's put them
just
away.
be thankful you start to see Halloween decorations all over the place already, and you still gave a shit.
Yeah, I made it to September.
Through Mets seasons before you were born, Sean, where by the July 4th barbecue, the Mets were an afterthought. So
I made it through September 19th. I made it this past weekend was the Philly series. I made it to September 17th. They got swept by the Phillies at home. That was the nail in the coffin, really. And the first game, this Friday night, I watched it. They were down 4-3, and then they lost. I'm like, and I texted my brother. I was like, "Season's a wrap." He's like, "Yep." So I made it to the 17th.
all right, well, we'll tuck this one away. Put
Yeah.
put a little cover over it, and maybe in a future podcast, we'll talk about the postseason.
Yeah. I'll say one more thing.
And
right?
you can say, "Oh, that guy in the Dodgers is great. I hope the Mets get him."
Yeah. If anyone listening, I'll say this: come next spring, I'll be all in with the Mets, and that's what a real fan does.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Like I'm annoyed. I'm gonna move on from it, and then come March, I'm gonna be ready for I hope it's gonna
If
be.
you're not boycotting sports, then that's what a real fan does. Yes.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. So a coworker who's in the room with me while I'm talking to a Met fan, he's a Yankee fan. He's just like, yeah, but I boycotted everything. I started dying laughing.
I'm not the one, Sean. There's millions of us. I don't know what the attendance figures were. I'm sure it was healthy enough, but there's a lot of people boycotting all sorts of sports, brother.
I told him about our podcast, and then he's like, "Oh, send me one." So I got to go through and find out the one where you talk about your boycott, and I'm going to send that to him.
Okay. Or you could just tell him to go on YouTube. Why go through the trouble?
It's more like he's
Do the goddamn work.
Yeah.
If you're watching, I don't know what the hell you are, but and if you're what's the guy's name that's president CEO?
Sandy Alderson.
Yes, as much value as Sean is to the young children that he teaches to their futures, he is available.
I am available, and I
field in 25 minutes if there's no traffic. So
and I don't use analytics. It's just all by eye. Like the eye don't lie. Like what you see is what you're seeing.
yes, yeah, I wish they would move away from the analytics from out the window, because it's been a BS game ever since they became prevalent.
Yes.
So, all right, Shawnee boy. So next week we have that fella. I won't disclose who he is, but it'll be an interesting podcast. An author.
An author.
In the Bronx, we call them authors.
Author F.
Right. He wrote something. So, we're looking forward to that, and that'll come out next week. And then in the meantime, you have yourself a fine evening, lad.
Always a good time at the Gritty Hour.
And don't give up hope. It might be a World Series in our lifetimes.
Still got to believe, right?
You got to believe.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, Sean. Take care of yourself.